When the sun goes down and night falls cool on the river, it's good to be able to rest, to think back over the day that has passed and wonder what tomorrow will bring in this world of endless jungle, heat, dampness, decay. I'm John Farrow, a kind of riverman. This is how we live, or try to, along the Amazon, along Latitude Zero. The Souzas are old friends, but I don't often see them. There's 100 miles of river between here and the nearest town, 50 to the closest neighbor. I asked how long you'd been like this. Maybe a month. I had no way of knowing what it was. There are hundreds of fevers and diseases here on the equator. Antibiotics sometimes help. It was all I could do. I made the incision, sucked the poison from the wound, and hoped that it wasn't too late. But with a fer de lance, the chances aren't good. I carried her aboard the P.O. We hoisted anchor and began the race to Parentine's, the nearest serum, 8 hours upstream. I needed fuel and supplies anyway, so we kept on to Parentine's. We'd bury her there. The people of the river converge on Parentine's once or twice a year. It isn't much of a town, but all there is, really, for hundreds of miles around. There are clothes for sale. People can drink beer and guarana and gamble. Buy provisions, spend their yearly income, and fade back into the jungle when the money runs out. After 30 years of trying, the main street was finally paved this year. But the rest, same as ever. Things change but slowly, if at all, in the Amazon. There's a kind of torpor, a despair which comes over people. A feeling of, I don't care what happens. Things are already as bad as they can possibly be. I must fight this feeling every moment of every day. I must if we are to accomplish anything. The people are of Indian, Negro, and Portuguese ancestry, mixed in varying degrees. Mostly they work at just staying alive. Although little by little, a jute industry is growing up. The steamers stop here to load, and once a week the old PBYs bring in the mail and a few passengers from the outside world. A few days in town and I'm ready for the river again. The endless, melancholy river. Occasionally, a house breaks the monotony. A crocodile or a condor peers out suspiciously. And then days more of only river, jungle, heat, and awful boredom. Finally, you hit a village. You hope for some kind of welcome. Where the devil are they, you think? Nothing new with the Olivares. The Salazars, same as ever. I try as I can to encourage them, to persuade them to try, to build decent houses and keep them clean. Perhaps get a school started, repair the church. And gradually, thank God, I begin to see results. The Rodriguezes are one of the nicest families I know on the river. Joao's a worker. Maria, a fine woman. And the children, wonderful children. We've been friends since I first came to Brazil from the States 7 or 8 years ago. Fought my first bout of dysentery here. Not to stay for several weeks. I think we did a lot for each other. From jute, Joao Rodriguez earns about $150 a year. The tall fibrous stalks are cut and tied in bundles. After soaking for several days, the stalks are beaten to separate the fibers. It's hard, hot, exhausting work. The heavy, wet strands are hung in the sun to dry. In a few weeks or months, Joao will take the crop to town to sell. Cacao provides $50 or $60 a year to supplement the income from jute. Manioc is the staple food, one of the few things which can be successfully grown in the Amazon. With luck, there will be 2 or 3 crops a year. Manioc must be replanted as soon as the root is harvested, or within a few days the jungle reclaims the clearing. In its native state, the manioc root is poisonous, containing deadly hydrocyanic acid, which must be removed. The root is ground into a wet, starchy mass. It is then packed into a long woven tube. With the cyanide removed, the manioc is toasted to remove any remaining moisture. These tasteless, gagging flakes, the staff of life for Joao Rodriguez and his family, and the people of the Amazon. Fish provide badly needed protein, and they are not always plentiful. Because of disease and lack of fodder, it's difficult to raise animals for meat. Although Maria manages a few each year. And always there is one for me. I carry a supply of medicines, Aralin for malaria, and a few other things. I tell Maria to save the powdered milk for the new baby when it comes. I have a meal with the Rodriguezes, rice, manioc. It was years before I learned to eat it without retching. There is the inevitable game of Amazon poker. He cheats outrageously, and so do I. I teach the children about the outside world, about other people and other places, about a better kind of life here and hereafter. If only they could read, I think I could leave books, and how wonderful that would be. But until I can build a school and get a teacher, I alone must be their link with the world around them. A couple of times a year, the Capitan Lamoral stops by. Big Jorge Santos and friend, the only sharks in the Amazon. Well, they call themselves traders. Joao trades a few turtles, boars, chickens, and some jute for rice and cloth, maybe a little candy, very little. Poor as these people are, the traders still steal from them mercilessly. Sometimes I can help bring a little justice to a trade. This day, the fat man departed a little less rich. The Rodriguezes were a little less poor. It was time now for me to go too. I said goodbye, praying that God would protect them until we met again. Maybe months, perhaps years from now. There were many miles of river ahead, many Rodriguezes who needed me. Along the thousands of tributaries we must travel, the water is often not deep enough, or there are too many obstructions for the Pio. And we go on foot. Sometimes a canoe is the best way. There are many villages which lie far from the mainstream. Villages like Namunda, mostly Indian here, deep in the interior. The Tokondero, or ant dance, began at noon. To prove he is a man, the boy stands till sundown in the blazing sun. I watched in horror, feeling the soldier ants eat into my flesh. On his arm, inside the glove, hundreds of starving ants, devouring skin and tissue. The scars will remain forever on his arm and in his heart. It isn't always easy to stop these things permanently, though God knows I try. Gonbrodo, a kind of witch doctor, still insists on the ancient ant dance. I try to make him see how wrong it is, how inhuman, how immoral are many of the wretched superstitious practices of Namunda. Young girls are caged and fed like animals during the months preceding their marriage. Women near the end of pregnancy are forced into isolation, into huts kept normally for the chickens, here to have their babies alone. I do what I can for the people of Namunda. The rice I bring is a luxury for people chained to a constant diet of manioc. I bring medicines, treat their bodies, and try to do something for their souls. A missionary, you see, has many jobs. 3 centuries ago, Portuguese conquerors brought their Catholic faith to Brazil. Today, most are nominally Catholic, but neither religion nor civilization has ever truly penetrated the Amazon. Few priests, great distances, isolation, hostile environment. These are among the many reasons. I try to visit twice a year. They need me more often, but I cannot come. I'm only one man who loves and tries, and has faith that one day, with the help of God and more fortunate people, I can do more. They need reason and courage to live, and this I try to give them. I baptize the children. A life begins. Another ends. There are happier duties, too. Drene Moriah has 2 children, another on the way. Now she has a husband, too. Lucky fellow. So it goes. The months blend into years. The jungle, The Amazon burns into my being. And I would not trade this life for any other, for here I am needed beyond all imagining. Ever so slowly, there is progress. We are planning and building schools to educate young minds which have lain fallow for generations. Schools to teach skills by which civilized people can live. Our orphanages care for children who would die if we were not here. Though we offer little in material luxury, these boys will possess what is, for the Amazon, the greatest luxury of all: an education, a knowledge of God, a chance to live as every child has a right to live. Over 100 Pi missionaries work in Brazil. We fight distance and the river, insects and heat. Live often for weeks on bananas and manioc, and we are happy. We fight disease and fever, and that spirit of the Amazon which says, you can't win here. Surrender. Quit. We fight inactivity and stupidity. We say, do something, anything, rather than nothing. Better to play soccer in the sunlight than decay in a dark hut. We hope and pray that somehow these children will not have to live under the same grueling poverty that has been the lot of the people of the Amazon for so many generations. There's so much that can be done if only there were more of us. If only more people outside could know of the awful needs here and help. There are accomplishments. We see vast numbers developing a sense of morality and ambition where neither existed before in this world of dishonor, corruption, and sloth. We work that they will grow in a better world along Latitude Zero.